In the first chapter, Mr. Rutherford writes about how things are created twice. First, they're created in our minds, and then they're created in reality. After watching the video description of TPOV, this video is going to help us remember our own TPOV as we move forward in our professional learning. The idea for our TPOV is represented in the 5 shifts defined in our CASAB. We wrote this CASAB 2 years ago, and it is still our big idea. We want to shift our focus beyond content fidelity to instruction that is derived from a deep knowledge and understanding of our students. To do this, we need to recognize the foundation of the family and their long-term aspirations for their child. Lifelong aspirations lead us to a sense of urgency beyond just foundational skills, toward more access to higher-order thinking skills that are aligned to the grade-level standards. This shift requires a can-do attitude that is based in UDL. This can-do attitude leads to behaviors that empower kids to independent success, which then leads to more success in the future. Here's an example. Last year, we worked with a 2nd grade student who struggled mightily with decoding. We taught Wilson with perfect fidelity every single day with very little progress. With help from our school psychologist in a progress monitoring meeting, we discovered that this young lady had a relative strength in perceptual reasoning. We changed her instruction to reasoning and writing, a program that reinforced her strength through sentence patterning. In 2 weeks, she progressed in reading more than she had in months. What's more, she is a much happier student. This is not about programming, however. The truth is every program works for the right student at the right time for the right reasons. For some students, the answer is not a program at all, or we may not have the exact right fit program for a particular student's needs. The decision for this young lady was based on a diagnostic understanding of who she is and how she learns. If we hadn't had reasoning and writing on the shelf, we would have designed something that looks like it. We will venture into diagnosis and design later on in this study. So how does value enter into our conversation in this TPOV? What is valuable to students and their families is the ability for the student to engage in meaningful learning even when the going gets tough. It's also important that the student have the ability to recognize what is expected and the ability to express their learning in ways that make them feel successful. Emotional energy should be dedicated to finding these pathways for kids by removing the barriers and opening the doors to new possibilities. So how do we make decisions that are best for our students? A teachable point of view is what gives us the edge for what is in and what is out. Our Guiding Principles for Placement document is an example of edge. The principles in the document match our idea, the values, and the emotional energy that we defined in our CASAB. As we work through this winter and spring, we hope to further develop this teachable point of view, to clarify roles and protocols that will result in better relationships with our families, better IEPs, and better outcomes for our students. In the end, it is difficult to have a clear shared image or clear learning goals without a clear and teachable point of view.